Welcome to One-Weighted Machines and the B7 Audi RS4 series. If the mileage is unknown on your car, definitely buy new intake manifold gaskets. In this particular car, the carbon clean was done 2,000 kilometers ago, and as I mentioned in the first video, the actual material on the gasket is in very good condition in the ones that were pulled from the car. So just to do like an experiment so we can all figure out if these gaskets can be reused, I'm going to put the same gaskets back on the car, but I recommend you don't if you're doing this job. I would usually never recommend reusing gaskets in any job on any car, but in recent years there have been new materials that they've used in cars when it comes to O-rings and gaskets and stuff like that. And there are these green materials. For example, on a different vehicle, there was a throttle body gasket, which was a green O-ring material that they use on some air conditioning components. And holding the original one out of the old car versus the Audi one that I got from the dealer, they were identical. You couldn't find one gouge, tear, anything in the old one. I put the new gasket in just because you always do that. But seeing these materials, it's worth experimenting. Let my car be the experiment though. Don't do it on yours. It's a lot of work to have to pull something back off if the gaskets don't work for you. So this orange material is what I'm talking about, and it's in all very good condition, and that's why we're going to try that with this RS4. The next item we're going to discuss is the bed sheets. You're going to need 3 bed sheets from a single bed that are used. Usually most people have these for painting projects. They keep them and drop them around in the house. The only thing I would suggest if you have used these for painting is that you don't have a lot of dried paint on them, because this can be very bad when you put these over the fenders and the bumper to protect them. So this is what we're going to use to protect the actual paint on the car. But make sure you inspect them very thoroughly and make sure there's nothing hard or something like old dry paint on them. Next, you're going to need a pair of heavy-duty gloves. You can try with dishwashing gloves. They tore on me the first time I did it, so I would definitely recommend you get these heavier duty dishwashing gloves. Have a chemical respirator, as you're going to have a ton of brake clean about a foot away from your face. So the higher quality the better, but the normal ones work just fine. And you're going to want a pair of ventilated safety glasses, because when you go to blow out the mixture of brake clean or whatever chemical you use and the carbon, sometimes it's going to fly out past the microfiber towel. So you definitely want safety glasses. Moving on to your air compressor, I will zoom in on the specifications for the minimums of the air compressor you need. You don't need a very high powered one, but I'll do this because this one worked great for me. The only thing I would say, wherever you're located, when you're shopping for your air compressor, the decibel level is very important, as some of the even big box stores have compressors that might be really cheap, but they're going to be extremely loud and annoying. So this is a nice tool that you're going to buy anyways, so at least buy one that's quieter. The other thing is, most compressors do not come with the hose and the kit or anything, or if they do, they come with very basic things. So you're going to have to get some kind of a kit or put things together yourself. So like you have to get a coupler for it, the hose, and all of these hoses have fittings. And all these fittings are going to need either plumber's tape, or you can use the pink plumber's tape. It has some oil on it, so that makes a bit better of a seal. But this all has to be rigged up by yourself. Put all the quick connects on it. It's not going to come set up for this particular purpose or what you want to do. And also with your air compressor, you're going to need to get one of these. I think this is probably about 4 or 5 inches. It's like a pistol grip insert, because this is what you're going to wrap your microfiber towel around. And then you're going to use this to blow the carbon and the mixture of chemical out into the towel. So again, this all needs to be rigged up. So pay attention when you're getting your air compressor. Here are the specs for the particular air compressor I used. Before I forget to mention it, another important part of this job is you need to have a pair of clothes that you don't mind throwing away after this job, as there's a very high chance you will get some carbon on yourself. These gloves have been used for many projects after the carbon clean that was done 2,000 kilometers ago earlier in the summer. And I'm going to zoom in on them, and you're going to see the carbon stains that have stayed on these gloves through numerous uses and dirt and all kinds of other chemicals that they've come in contact with. I'm also going to zoom in on this bottle here so that you can see how much carbon really does get everywhere, and on the inside of the spray nozzle. So as you can see, there's still a ton of carbon stuck to these gloves. This is your spray bottle that you're going to use for your brake cleaner. It's going to be everywhere. And here is the pistol trigger here, all underneath there. It's all going to fly in there. Next, we're going to talk about the microfiber towels. So depending on how long it's been since the car's been carbon cleaned, or if it's unknown how long it has been before the last cleaning, you're going to need something between 30 to 60 microfiber towels. These are like these small ones here. So these things are going to soak up the chemical and the carbon really quickly, and you're going to have to throw them away. You could get away with less, but the amount of work that it's going to take, just spend a couple more bucks, get more microfiber towels. Another tip I forgot to mention with the microfiber towels, I just bought these for the purposes of showing you guys and for the video. But what you should actually do is, if you do work in the garage, you're going to have a ton of these that are going to be used for different things, and then you throw them away. Make it a habit to not throw them away. Get a plastic bag and keep these. Keep these because most of the jobs that you're going to do with your microfiber towel are not going to fully saturate them, so you can reuse them. And from what I remember, the first time that I did this job, I did not buy any microfiber towels. It was just from the ones that I had stored before. So if you can, do that before you do it to save a little bit of money. Now we're going to talk about your chemicals of choice for cleaning. The first time that I did it, I looked for BG product and other really intense chemicals. They're not easy to come by sometimes, so I haven't mentioned using those here. But what I did do on this particular RS4 for the carbon clean was I experimented with seafoam, just pouring it in to loosen up the carbon at the beginning. This was not too effective, okay? And this stuff is a lot more expensive than brake clean. And when I say a lot more expensive, if you buy brake clean from your local auto parts store, anywhere in the world you are, it's such a popular product that it will be on sale at some point. So you got to get the flyers, see when they're on sale, and then stock up on them. In that way, it's going to be efficient for you to do that. This stuff is a lot more expensive, and this time I'm not even going to use it because it did not make much of a difference. The brake clean did almost all of the work. So coming on to the brake clean, there's two ways of doing this. Either if all you have readily available in your area is these spray cans, you're going to need, depending on how much carbon your car has, something between 5 to 25 cans. So take a guess, maybe last time for this car I probably used around 15 cans, I think. So yeah, buy this stuff when it's on sale. The other alternative, if you do have a lot more auto parts stores around you, or you have some kind of a connection for something, just buy a jug of brake cleaner. It will probably be cheaper, and honestly, for the purpose, the way that we're going to use it, it's even more efficient than having the spray bottle. So what you're going to do if you do the spray bottle method is you're going to need a spray bottle like this. These are just normal $2 spray bottles. Open it up, and then what you're going to do is hold it on its side, and you're going to spray the entire can into the spray bottle. Do this for about 4 or 5 cans, and then you're going to get to work, and you're going to come back and have to refill it. So this is a bit more annoying than having a jug. I didn't have a jug, or I had bought like 200 cans of this stuff when it was on sale, so I put it here for you guys to see. and you can use it like this. So the brake cleaner in the spray bottle is a must though. Whatever, even if you buy it in a jug, this method works very well because you can control the spray on the actual spray nozzle, and you can get in there and you can really aim your brake cleaner into the valves and let it soak, let it sit for a minute before you get to scrubbing. So I'm going to do this project this time only with brake cleaner, and we'll see how it goes. Let's talk about the tools you're going to use to actually loosen up the carbon. Picks are very good for the beginning stages. You're going to want a 90-degree pick, you're going to want a straight pick, and whatever angle you want to call that kind of pick. Two different sizes. Picks are always hard to, even in flyers, to kind of judge how big they are, so I'm pretty sure these that I have here are probably around like 6 inches, and this one is probably around like, I don't know, 10 inches or a foot. But having the 10-inch straight pick is very good because this really gets you get around the valves and you can push into it and break up the carbon. Carbon is very gummy, it's very sticky, so you're gonna have to go with the pick a lot in order to actually get all of it loose. But yeah, have both sizes of picks. The ones that I used the most were the straight picks and this pick with this angle on it. The kit that I had for this had one in this size, but I gave it away to somebody that needed it, so I don't have it this time for the project. But if you can have both sizes for these picks, then that's your best bet. Okay guys, now we're going to talk about the wire brushes. So using picks in combination with wire brushes is totally necessary to get this done. Each port, if it's your first time or even most likely on a car like this which doesn't have heavy carbon buildup, you're going to be spending at least 30 minutes on each port. So what works best is I bought a new kit so that you guys can see what it looked like when it was new. But the largest one that you want to use, because the diameter of the actual wire brush that you use is very important. If you get one that's too big, it's just going to keep getting stuck. If the centerpiece is too big, it's not going to work. So you definitely want to put a bend to it when you put them in. That's going to help a lot. You kind of have to do it, so give them a bend. And this one here was around just over about half an inch, maybe 0.6 of an inch, 0.7 of an inch. This is the one that I use the most. But the main thing is, like say for instance, this kit only has one of that size in it, and it has a bunch of small ones, and it has the medium sized one, which I used a little bit, but I had 3 or 4 of the small ones the first time. So the best thing to do is with the small ones, at the beginning it's going to be very heavy and it's going to get loose with the chemicals. When you get in there, scrub hard with whatever one you have more of. It doesn't matter to cover all of the space. Just pick up all the carbon, and I did throw them away. I don't have them here to show you, but I had maybe at least 3 or 4 of these that they just looked like a black clump. It was like just a complete black clump, and you throw them away. So first clog these up, and then use your more important ones, or if you have new ones, save these to do your more delicate cleaning, because you're going to get the bulk out of it in about 5 minutes, and then all of what's left is going to take the extra 20-25 minutes. You're just going to have to gently go with this, go back to the pick, and go back to that. The one thing that I urge you not to do is to use brass picks. Sorry, not brass picks, brass wire brushes. Brass is much more soft, and you don't want to break these off and have them fall into your engine for any reason. Your valves will be closed, but don't take a risk with that. These are very soft, and in the environment that you're going to be rubbing them, they can fall off. Don't use brass, use steel, and use high quality. Don't buy some dollar store cheap wire brushes. Get a decent brand that you know has somewhat of a reputation, so that even the steel ones aren't going to be shedding their actual brush wires into your motor. Now, the good thing about the brass ones, what I found was, you'll see this one here, this was not used inside the motor, okay? I only used the steel one. What I did use this for, and what it really helped with, is cleaning the exhaust tips on the car, because they also get a ton of carbon on them, and that's a safe place to use anything. So just spray a bunch of brake clean inside of the exhaust tip, and then you can use this stuff. Obviously I have a mask and glasses because it'll go everywhere, but the brass wire brushes aren't too harsh on the exhaust, and they help clean it really quickly. I mean, you can use a lot of different detailing stuff, but this stuff got the carbon off and it did not scratch my exhaust tips. These are all the tools that we're going to need for the project. Stay tuned for the next part where we're going to do the actual carbon clean.